Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing today on such a beautiful fall day, right? So nice outside, finally. So first, I just want to mention that we are videotaping these. Lisa's back there videotaping. She's really just looking at the screen. That's why I'm over here, because who wants to be on the screen, right? And then she's going to put them on our YouTube channel. So for those of you that are familiar, you can go to startdd.org and you can view these on our YouTube channel. And for people that maybe have missed tonight or other family information series, we want you to have that available as a resource. So first I want to thank you all for coming and spending some time with us, only about an hour, but it's so awesome that we're able to get together and start doing these family information series regularly. This is a big goal of ours from Start DD to make sure that we are giving families, individuals, providers, and staff all the information that they need. There's a lot going on right now, isn't there? There's just so much going on, and it's so important that we take the time and make the commitment to get together and talk about what's going on and what's important. Because yes, we have to follow all the rules and regulations, but what's important? What's important are our families and the individuals that we have the honor and privilege to serve every day. That's why I'm here. That's why all of you are here too, right? That's why our staff are here. That's why our providers are here. It's important that we keep focus on that, even though there's so many things going on. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about person-centered planning, and we're going to really focus in on discovery. And discovery is just a fancy name for a new way of asking people questions to dig deeper and to help us find out what someone or their family wants, needs, wants to work on, okay? That will be the first half of tonight. And then the second half of tonight, we're going to talk about provider certification and give you some really good rule-based information about provider certification. So first off, I want to introduce myself. I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you, but for those of you I have not met, my name is Emily Martinez, and I am Start DD's new. I can say that for a little while longer, right? Because I haven't been here a full year yet. In December it'll be a year. But again, my name is Emily Martinez, and I am our new SSA and Investigative Services Director. So I've been here almost a year, and it's just a real honor to be here. It's just such a great place to work and be with all of you on a regular basis. Also want to introduce Mary Lou Chismar. Mary Lou is our newest SSA supervisor. For those of you that know Ryan Heckert, he recently became the CEO of TWI, and Mary Lou has taken his position in the Waiver Services Unit. So she's going to talk about provider certification a little bit later, and that's really her area of expertise. So we're so thankful that she's here tonight and here with us on board. Also want to introduce one of our SSAs, Josh Young, and he is going to talk with you a little bit about our discovery tool and give you some firsthand information and some success stories that we have seen from individuals and families from using this tool. So hopefully a nice and enjoyable night for everyone, and again, we're so appreciative that you're all here. The next thing that I want to do is I would like to show you a video. Some of you may have seen it, some of you may not have. But this is Start DD's new video, and this is a collaboration amongst individuals, families, and staff from all of Start DD, and it really shows the community, this is who we are and this is what we're about. And the video is over. Did you guys enjoy that? While we're waiting on Brian, our fabulous IT specialist, to fix that, we'll talk a little bit about the video. The video, which you're going to love, is a collaboration, as I said, of many different entities within Start DD working together. And we taped individuals and family members in Monument Park talking about person-centered planning, and really talk about what person-centered planning means to individuals and families that we serve, because that's really, really important to us. So, it's the third one down. So we'll try the video later. So we'll try the video later, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about our team meetings right now. Really important that we talk with you about some of the changes in our team meetings. And we've talked about this at the last time we met for the Family Information Series. And basically, team meetings should be about the person and should focus on the person, right? And historically across the state of Ohio, that's been an issue because we've had so many things we've had to do, right? Sometimes we've had team meetings and just checked all the boxes. We really haven't had the opportunity to stop and say, how are things going? What's going on? Let's talk about what you want. Let's focus on what you want. Team meetings should be positive. We should discuss the person's strengths, goals, and achievements. The SSA is going to be scheduling a short pre-meeting with the individual and anyone else that they want to attend to spend some quality time with the person prior to their annual meeting. And they can also do this anytime throughout the year. And we're calling this discovery. Again, just a nice name for getting together with an individual and maybe their family member and talking about things we've not talked about before. And Josh is going to share in a little bit some really amazing success stories that we've had when we stopped checking all of our boxes and just writing in everything that we have to do for compliance. When we actually sat down and spent time with you and your loved ones, we learned what you, your other family members, and your loved ones really wanted. That helped us learn what we in the SSA department need to do to help you and your family get there. So it's really important to us. During this pre-meeting, the SSA will review a short discovery tool with the person. Josh is going to talk with you about a couple of different options that we have. Some of the options are statewide tools that we use that really help individuals identify things in a different way. Like he'll talk a little bit about rituals and routines. Instead of me just asking you, what do you like, what do you not like, if you are unable to verbally tell me, maybe your mom can write down your rituals and routines for me, and we can talk about that, and that can help me learn that every day you like to start your day off by drinking a lemonade. Is that important? Yeah, it is. It's important. It's important to that person because our rituals and routines are important to us. It's the same for the individuals that we serve, right? If I don't have my Dunkin' Donuts coffee in the morning, it is not a good day for me, okay? And the people around me know this. If I forget, somebody usually gives me one, right? They don't want to be around me when I'm in a bad mood, right? Those are the things that are important that we have historically not asked people. During this time, we'll have the time to talk to show about how often they want their services to be reviewed, how often you want to meet, where do you want to meet, what do you want to talk about at your meeting, what do you not want to talk about at your meeting. They can also discuss what's working for the person and what's not working for the person. So I'm going to turn it over to Josh, and he's going to talk with you a little bit about discovery and also a discovery tool that the Stark DD SSAs created that we're really proud of.
Hi everybody, I am Josh Young, and I wanted to start by telling you a few things about myself. I procrastinate. I eat way too much sugar. My mom got me a big bag of those little York peppermint patties yesterday for Sweetest Day. It didn't last 24 hours. It's gone. I can't sit still. I'm constantly in motion, and people tell me about it all the time. I'm shaking the floor. Or when I get home, I have to get out and go do something else, so I just can't sit still. I don't always do my dishes in a timely manner, and I definitely don't put my laundry away right after it's done. So it's kind of stacked up on the dryer right now. Maybe I'll get to it today when I get home, maybe not. And it took me a long time to learn how to budget money. So this gives you a sense of some of the things in my life that are challenges or that I struggle with, that I'm not great at. But the more we talk about those things, the more I'm going to be defined by my limitations, right? And I think that's true for everybody. And the more time we spend talking about something, that's how we're going to come to know who that person is. So it's not that these things are not important, it's just that they're a part of me. They're not all of me. So for years, we've kind of been focusing on the needs of people with disabilities. Our assessments, our ISPs, our behavior support plans, all our documentation, our overall perspective has really narrowed in on the things that people can't do, that they need help with. And we had the best intentions. We wanted to meet needs, to keep people safe, to keep people healthy. Again, all those things are important. But we're missing something. We're missing what makes a person happy, what they want, when that's the approach that we take. So think about what you know about me, just from the information that I gave you a minute ago. You might label me a procrastinator. You might think that I'm an unhealthy eater. You might even think that I'm lazy or undisciplined. But what if I also tell you that I feel most alive and energetic when I'm involved in a creative project? How does that change your impression of me? Or that I have a little rescue dog, his name is Wesley, and he means the world to me. Or that I want to start my own business with vintage clothing. So you start to get a more holistic picture of who I am, not just my limitations. And all those things are important. So these are things which are important to me, things which make me happy, and they're every bit a part of who I am. I like to think even more so than my limitations. So it's really important to spend time talking about those things. So why wouldn't we do the same thing for people that we work for, people with disabilities? We really wanted to shift the focus, or I guess strike a better balance between those two things. And person-centered planning is a great opportunity to do that. So Emily asked a small group of us to get together and kind of develop a tool that was unique to Stark County, and which would help us learn what was important to people and what made them happy. So we talked a lot, we thought a lot, and we did a lot of talking about what made us happy, the people in the group. And we realized that the act of sharing and asking questions, and then listening to the answers that we were giving, was the important part. It was probably the best way to find out what makes people happy, is to ask and listen. So think about yourself. Who knows what makes you happy better than you? So we decided it was almost a matter of respect to ask the people to tell us about themselves. We researched a lot of different tools online, and finally found one that life coaches use, and it's called the Life Wheel. And that's kind of what it looks like. It's not a tool exclusively for people with disabilities. It's a tool for anyone who is alive. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's a wheel that's broken up into, I think, 8 different sections there. Fun, home, work, money, health, friends and family, romance, and goals. And those aren't exhaustive, but we think it's pretty good. And the idea is that we start asking people questions about each area of their life. What makes them happy? How happy are they? If they're not happy, why not? And what can we do to make that a little bit better? And then out here you'll see a scale from 1 to 10. And so we try to ask people to rate how happy or satisfied they are in each area of their life on that scale. And then it's up to them to color that in or show us in some way how happy they are. So the nice thing about that is you can take a step back and for this particular person, probably see that they have a pretty well-rounded life, but they're not really happy about where their goals are in their life. So you can see that. I think they rated that a 2. Romance, they got it going on. Whatever's going on is working for them. You know, same with money and fun and even health. So that gave us an idea. The tool is pretty, and they look different and they're colorful, but it's really not where the crux of the information is. That comes from the conversations that we have with people, the questions that we ask. And that's kind of what Emily was talking about, digging deeper. We really want to ask the right questions. Sure, we still ask, what kind of help you need with day-to-day activities. That's still important. But we also want to know what makes you happy. What do you like about your life? What don't you like, and what would you change if you had the opportunity? So let me talk a little bit about these tools, some specific stories, and I'll tell you about some other tools that we've used. Let me find the right one. So for that gentleman, we already talked about the fact that his goals were rated pretty low on there. So we spent a lot of time talking about, well, what would you do to make it different? What would make you happier? And so he wants to learn to read. He wants to get his driver's license. He wants to lose weight. And he really wanted to become more active as part of losing weight. And I'm happy to tell you guys that he actually was in Toledo for a Special Olympics event recently. So he joined a team, he got active. So I thought that was pretty awesome. But we're not going to stop there with him, because I think it's great that he joined a Special Olympics team. But I think part of person-centered planning is about inclusion and integration. And there's no reason that he can't join another team where not everybody has disabilities. So we're talking about those things, and we're exploring what's out there so he can really become a part of his community. Friends and family for him. One of the goals that we set, because it was a little lower, was he wants to have a party at his house and invite his friends and family. I think if people want to do that, they should have the opportunity to. You know? And instead of talking about why things can't happen, because traditionally there have been barriers, I think we start asking, well, how do we make this stuff happen? And when we ask that simple question, I think we come up with some really great ideas. This guy. So home, he rated a little bit low, but really he's got a pretty great life. And I think he was really excited about romance and goals, as you can see. But for home, he wants to move to Virginia, and that's pretty big. And I think in the past, we might have glossed over that. We might have said, okay, yeah, we'll get to that maybe, you know, or why do you want to move to Virginia? Well, now we're asking, why do you want to move to Virginia? What's so great about Virginia? And we're trying to incorporate that and helping him plan to be successful in his life. You know, so we've already made some calls to a county board down in Virginia, and we're trying to make contact down there. Maybe get him down there for, you know, a couple days to see what it's like, choose where he wants to live. There's no reason that he can't move to Virginia. It's about asking how, instead of focusing on why not. And money, and this, by the way, is a theme, we're helping him look for another job, because he's so used to doing the jobs that have been available that he had a lot of trouble imagining what else was out there. So one of the questions I really try to ask in my meetings is, what are your top 3 jobs? But then I try to push. No, anything. Because sometimes I get, well, I'd really like to shred paper. And that might be true for some people. And if that's true, let's find you a job where you are shredding paper all day, if that's what you love to do. But if people realize that they have the opportunity to do other things, sometimes they choose those other things. So this guy wants to be involved with the military. He's not really sure how, but he wants to be involved. So the first step we took was finding a volunteer opportunity up in Green. And he would have been going out spending some time with veterans in nursing homes and letting them tell their stories to him and giving them recognition or certificate. So that was in the worst. Unfortunately, that fell through for him. But I called him and I said, you know, that just means that we move on to the next thing. And I think that's really an important perspective to have here, because failure and risk is kind of a part of life. So just because it doesn't work out the first time doesn't mean it's not going to work the second time. So this wheel was actually done in Microsoft Paint. I don't know if any of you have used that program, but this is a young guy who preferred to work with computers rather than with his hands to color this in. So he did this on Microsoft Paint. And my favorite story about him is in the money section. Again, it's kind of related to employment, jobs. He's a DJ. He's in a wheelchair, and he has some issues controlling his movement sometimes, but we're making it work. And he's had quite a few gigs so far. And these are paid gigs. You know, they're not paid gigs. It's real. But again, we don't get there unless we ask the important questions. How are we going to make this happen? Fortunately, he works with providers and staff who are really, really invested and really creative and committed to helping him be successful. So you will definitely see him around, by the way. He loves what he does, and he loves to share that. And this person, I said that last, that's the best. So money, see that's pretty low there. That had to do with him not really knowing how to save money. I mentioned earlier, it took me a long time to learn how to budget. He's kind of in the same boat. So we're helping him set up his first bank account and learn how to use a bank account. And that's the first step to create your things. Because once you have that, you start asking other questions. Okay, now we got that down. What else do you want to do? Romance, he just wants a girlfriend. And it's a matter of getting out there and meeting people where they are, people that share your interests. So that's what we're helping with. And for fun, he just wanted to get more involved with music. The cover of his ISP, and this is a credit to Emily, it was a great idea. We're putting pictures on the covers of the ISPs if people want them. And they can really be anything, and I've seen a lot of different stuff on ISPs. This guy chose a picture of Def Leppard, because that's one of his favorite bands. Straight out of the 80s with all the hair and everything. But he wanted to get more involved with music, so we're trying to connect him with musicians. But he also wanted to be in a music video. And we thought, all right, I don't know how we're going to do that. But that's not what we said. Instead, we said, how are we going to do that? And it turns out that that particular provider has someone who makes videos for their advertising. And he lent his time to make a video for this guy, to a Journey song. I can't remember the name of the song, but he's in it and he's singing, and it's pretty awesome. But again, that comes back to asking how we're going to do it and being creative, putting our heads together. So we realized that this tool is not perfect, and person-centered planning isn't one size fits all. You have to use what's right for each person. And the My Life Wheel isn't right for everybody. It works best, in my experience, for people who are able to tell me what they want pretty clearly. But that's not always the case, and everybody's important. So there are some other tools that we can use. And if that means that we pull in family or a staff member who spends most of their time with the person, then that's what we do. We do whatever has to be done. One of those things that we can use is Good Day, Bad Day. And it just involves asking, what makes a good day for you? What's it look like when you have a good day? What contributes to you having a good day? Emily talked about getting her coffee in the morning. One of my things is, if I get to stop home on my lunch break and let Wesley out, spend a little time with him, that helps me have a good day. And it's not insignificant, it's really important. And so we're trying to dig deep and find those things for people that we work for. The rituals and routines is also important, because it talks about, your day-to-day activities. What do you do? When we're able to take a look at those day-to-day things in a person's life, they're important to them, they comfort them. We really get a better sense of who that person is. So, a couple things that I've learned from doing these activities and the Life Wheel. I met with a staff member at a pre-meeting roughly 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about a person's routine and what makes a good day for him. And we got to the morning part of the routine, and he says, you know what, I never thought about this, but when he goes into like the northwest corner of his bedroom, after his shower, he can put all of his clothes on the right way. But when he goes into any other part of his room, he can't seem to get them on the right way. And so that was really, really important to learn. It really gave us a better sense of who that person is and how we can help them. There's somebody else I just had a meeting for. Part of his ritual and routine is that he's got to have dinner on the table at 6, right at 6 o'clock. If it's 6:05, it's too late. And then dinner has to have dessert. It's always followed by dessert. And that's a man after my own heart there. But it's good stuff. And then most recently, we talked a little bit about a meeting I had with Craig and Denise James at the back there, sorry to call you out. But we had a pretty good meeting, pretty positive meeting. And at the end, I just wanted to kind of touch base again on one of the goals that we had. And their daughter loves Disney and Disney princesses and has a huge collection of VHS tapes and prints off pictures and big stacks of paper that she sorts through, and that's part of her routine. And I hope it's okay that I share this, Craig, but he'd really like to see her go to Disney World. Thinks she would love it. Would there be barriers? Sure. Would it be a long-term goal instead of a short-term goal? Of course. But we asked how, and we take small steps to get there. So anyway, that's the point. The team meeting is supposed to be positive. We used to spend a lot of time talking about what people couldn't do. And again, we want to cover the health and safety and what do you need? What can we help you with? We want to cover those things. They're still important. But we need to strike a balance. And so we're trying to run meetings a lot differently. Focus on what's positive. A lot of times we go around asking each member of the team to say what they like about the person. And that works really, really well. So anyway, I encourage you all to kind of take a positive approach and start asking how instead of why not. Thanks.
Are there any questions about person-centered planning or the life field before we go to provider certification?
Why is there not a section for just interests?
Interest?
Can you repeat the question for the video?
I mean, because it doesn't necessarily have to be something that they want to do for work.
Sure. The question was, why is there not a specific section for interests? And the one thing that we didn't get to project up here, so that's the wheel, it's the pretty part, but we've got 3 or 4 pages of questions that we ask as part of that. So that really comes out in the questions. Then we've got another assessment where we do ask specifically about interests and hobbies and favorite TV shows and things like that. So we try to be pretty comprehensive. But yeah, we didn't project that up there, but we definitely have
Because
that.
he's got a lot of interest
Mhm.
that have nothing to do with work.
Sure, I love to play games. Anybody who knows me knows it. You want to play games sometime? I love to play games. So our interests are really important, but we do get to that.
Baseball.
Yep.
Why did they close all the work shut down? Why did they shut down?
That's not really a question that we're addressing with this.
Yeah, and we'll continue to have more information on that.
Okay.
But we're not really going to cover that tonight. So,
Oh,
okay. Do you have any other questions? Okay.
Is there some more questions? I tried to write them out too. More questions?
What was the last question you're not addressing?
She asked, why are you closing the workshops down?
So talking about the workshop consolidation.
Oh, okay.
Any more questions?
I have one question, because I've never been to the Higgins building. Is there a difference as far as size go?
That's the,
I'm just curious.
she's asking, is there just a difference as far as size goes between the different sites?
Yeah. Is it as big of a building, or is it a lot smaller?
No, Higgins is smaller. Yeah. Okay, if any of you have any questions about the consolidation, I'm not the expert, I don't know everything, but you can stay around afterwards and you can ask me or you can ask Emily, okay, and we'd be happy to answer those, okay? Okay, are there any more questions on
Discovery tools.
discovery tool or person-centered planning? Okay. Okay, with that, we'll go on to Mary Lou. I'm gonna make you stop